auto, handle my problems, I ain't scared.
Yo, welcome back, Pacer Nation, Pacer Station fans everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today, got a very fun video for you all today. A little offseason overview, looking at all the moves the Pacers have made so far this offseason, and moves we think they might make to round the offseason off in the free agency. First and foremost, I don't think we've got to hear Coach Jay talk about the Pacers drafting Cassius Stanley. Coach Jay, what are your opinions and thoughts about what the Pacers did in the draft?
I thought they did a wonderful job. I feel like Cassius Stanley has a lot of physical tools.
Right.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Derek Jones Jr. All us Pacer fans remember, who gave us all kinds of trouble with the Miami Heat. Just a pure athlete, a little raw.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But with some solid coaching and some minutes and potentially some time in Fort Wayne, I believe he can develop into somebody like Derek Jones Jr. A solid perimeter defender. A jump shot would be great, but just somebody who can get downhill and get to the basket. That's pretty much what I see for him.
100%. And like I said in my last video about Cassius, I don't think he'll be a guy that'll be a liability from the three, but obviously most of his work is going to be done using that athleticism to get to the rim, especially in Nate Bjorkgren's offense, in which he said he wants to be very aggressive and he wants players who can run. So I love the pick personally.
Definitely, and I see a lot of defensive upside with him too.
Yep, for sure.
I see potential. I see the potential to be able to guard some of the better players in the league. You got to be, in order to stay with guys like James Harden, you have to have the athleticism to keep up with them, and he definitely has that.
100%. And it's like I watched an interview with Cassius, and he was talking about a conversation he had with Coach K, where Coach K told him the number 46 being his 46-inch vertical. He said 46 doesn't just mean you can jump high. It means you can close out on rebounds. It means you can block shots easier. Use that vertical to your advantage in other ways in the game. And I think he's going to use not only his vertical, but his speed and lateral quickness as well to become, like you said, a possible really good defender down the road.
Definitely.
100%. Now, let's get on to what the Pacers did elsewhere in the offseason. Let's talk about the trade that happened, I believe, yesterday. The Pacers traded TJ Leaf to OKC for Jalen LeCue. I believe that's how you say his name. I've heard it said multiple different ways. How do you feel about this trade?
I was thoroughly impressed with the return that Kevin Pritchard got for TJ Leaf. Let's remember, TJ Leaf is a guy who couldn't even get on the floor. And when he was up in Fort Wayne, didn't produce a lot. So, I was amazed that the Pacers got anything but cash for him.
Right.
And for them to get a future second-round pick and Jalen LeCue, I've heard from Oklahoma City Thunder fans that he is another guy like Cassius Stanley. He's smaller, though. He's not 6'6". He's not one of
and being a guy who has watched, I'm almost in the same age range as Cassius and Jalen, so I've seen them develop throughout high school and such. I can tell you there's a chance Jalen LeCue might even be more athletic than Cassius Stanley. I mean, these two are both. They have crazy bounce and crazy athleticism, so it's becoming a glaring, obvious thing that's what Nate Bjorkgren wants as far as the guard position.
Well, he also wants versatility, and both these guys are already versatile defensively.
Sure.
But if these two guys can develop an outside jump shot, I could see them being consistent contributors in the future. And I think when you look at the pieces that we lost, which honestly weren't that much,
nope.
But you lost TJ Leaf, you lost Alize Johnson. But you gained two guys that I will go on record to say now are upgrades defensively from both those guys.
Right.
And I could see them both becoming, and I think both those two guys have much more of a chance on this roster to be rotational players than either of than Leaf or Johnson. And both those guys, and let's not make this a bashing about TJ Leaf and Alizé Johnson, because they're both good guys.
Right.
And I wish them nothing but the best. I actually think TJ Leaf will do very well at Oklahoma City. He'll at least get playing time.
Right. I think he could end up
which
being
I think,
a Nick Collison kind of guy over there in OKC. But go ahead, continue.
definitely. I think he's a more perimeter version, but in terms of his locker room impact, I think the Thunder fans are really gonna like having him around.
For sure. 1,000%. And I think the thing I like the most about these two acquisitions of drafting Cassius Stanley and getting Jalen LeCue via trade is their ceiling. I feel like is star or superstar potential for both of these guys. I see a lot of Russell Westbrook in both of them. Very, very springy and athletic. This is if they hit their very, very ceiling, which who knows might be the complete opposite. They might both just spend the rest of their time here in Fort Wayne for all we know. But I 100% believe these guys can be great pieces of a team that can go far in the playoffs in the future.
Absolutely. They like I said, these two guys are much more likely to get minutes here than the two guys we lost.
1,000%. Moving on to some guys, I wanted to ask you, Coach Jay, how do you feel about guys you think the Pacers might have missed on, or guys that you think we might have let slip via free agency or a trade of some kind, or even in the draft? Who do you think we might have missed out on that could have really helped our team that you see around the league?
Well, for starters, I'm going to say we did not miss out on Gordon Hayward. There was no way we were going to give up. We were going to be able to clear the cap that was necessary to sign him.
Right.
Still have a competitive roster. You would have had to lose two of either Brogdon. You would have either had to lose Brogdon and Oladipo or Brogdon and Sabonis. You would have had to lose two of your guys making $20 million or more. So that would have been Miles, Domas, Victor, or Brogdon. You would have had to give up two of those guys just to get Hayward on the roster. So, for all the fans out there that are heartbroken for all the fans who are out there heartbroken, that was never going to happen. I thought it would happen at first, but then I took a closer look at the numbers. And before I could get that tweet out, the next thing I know, he signs with the Charlotte Hornets. And I did a live stream on my YouTube channel last weekend with the trade deadline guys, and we agreed with that. There was no way that was ever going to happen. But obviously, going into free agency, one of the guys I was super high on was Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who is still a free agent, by the way. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet. I really liked him. I knew he and Victor had a prior relationship. I knew that those two guys have a good relationship professionally, and I feel like Hollis-Jefferson has as much defensive upside as anybody on the market. But he does struggle from three-point range, and I feel like, and after taking a closer look at Cassius Stanley, I'm not too upset that we missed out on him. But you got to remember, the Pacers have so many guys who are under contract right now, and such little cap space to work with.
Right.
I was never convinced they were going to go out and get a splash signing.
100%. Any conclusions you have about the free agency as a whole, or the Pacers offseason thus far, and anything you think they can do to complete it, to round it off? Anything you think that we haven't addressed that is a glaring need, or even a smaller need in the market?
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to see the Pacers add is more experience. There are two potential ways they could achieve this, and Pacer fans I believe will like both of these options. The Pacers are only too deep at that 5 spot right now with Sabonis and Goga, both of which have had health issues. You're going to run the risk of injuries, one guy being out. I think it would be worthwhile for the Pacers to sign another 5. Now, let it be known that this 5 will not play too much, but it's somebody I would like to see see them re-sign for his experience and his leadership, and that's Jan Mahimi. Mahimi averaged close to 8 points a game at 35 years old for the Washington Wizards and was effective every year that he was active there. He's still an effective shot blocker, and because of his playoff experience, not just with the Pacers, but he won a championship with the Mavericks. He's been super important on young teams in terms of providing leadership. Right. And I'm positive he would come back here if offered vet minimum. The other thing, and I know Pacer fans are going to love this. I'm not sure about Edmund Sumner's ability to get on the floor because of, obviously drafting Cassius Stanley. I just don't think there's enough minutes for him. But the Pacers could potentially trade him for an asset, maybe a second-round pick, and then replace him on the roster with Lance Stevenson.
Yes, sir. I knew you was going to say it. I knew it.
Because this team has a ton of talent. I mean, we're deep. We re-signed Jakar Sampson and Justin Holiday, which I thought were both great signings. They both showed up in the playoffs.
Both provide great energy.
They're both going to be key contributors during the season, especially especially if Nate's going to start playing the bench more, which I thought McMillan did not do a good job of.
Right.
But I think having two key components to our previous conference finals team, somebody who understands the tradition in the culture that we're trying to build here, I think having a couple of guys on the roster who fit that description would be very helpful for us.
1,000%. So in conclusion, I feel like thus far, what would you grade the Pacers offseason thus far?
I'm going to give it a solid B+.
Agreed.
Simply because of the only reason it's not an A is because of the unknowns. We haven't really seen this team reach its potential due to injuries, but I think Nate's Coach Bjorkgren's ability or his philosophy on rotations and playing more guys, I think that'll eliminate our injury problems a lot. And I think this team's upside is huge, but they really weren't too aggressive. They just they're really trying to run it back with this team, which is I think it's the smart move. With the salary cap going down, you got to stick to what worked for you before. So that opinion might jump to an A once the season starts if they start hitting it out of the park. But just because you had teams like the Lakers that got significantly better in free agency, and you had teams like the Celtics who pretty much didn't do anything, who got worse. I just think the disparity is so high, is so wide this offseason. I'm going to give the Pacers a B+.
1,000%. I completely agree about the B+. I think it's closer to an A- than a B-. For sure. I feel like they did. I think they did everything right. Textbook wise, I feel like they did it all by the book. Really, after getting a new coach, wanted to see how he'll be able to coach with the players. Basically running it back, like you said. But I've always been a fan and someone who believes in aggression when it comes to the free agency, and the offseason in general. So, I obviously, like you said, I don't think they were very aggressive, and that's the one place I feel like they could have improved. And not saying they should have made any splash moves that they didn't make, but maybe a few more moves. I think getting TJ Leaf out was the right move, and I feel like drafting Cassius Stanley was the right move. But I do feel like there were some moves that could have been made, maybe that we didn't hear about, to fit Nate Bjorkgren's system a little more. I know the team that is in place right now fits it pretty well. But like I said, I just would like to see a little bit more aggression. So B+, just like you said.
Yeah, I nothing jumped out at me, but every move they made was solid. That would be my assessment.
Right. Like I said, by the book, I feel like they did everything right. But everything right isn't always the most fun off season. That's the only way. That's the only reason why, as a fan, I'd give it a B plus. But as a front, if I'm part of the front office, I'm thinking we got an A plus. I mean, basically kept the core, didn't make any big risky moves, stayed solid, and remained content with what we have, while adding a little bit of young athleticism in LeCue and Stanley.
Well, to be fair, if your front office is giving itself anything less than an A plus, then you probably need to find a new general manager.
Oh, 100%. Right, 100%.
But I agree with you. I think the Pacers are very satisfied with what they did.
Right.
And I am personally as well.
I believe as a fan, we have nothing to not be satisfied about with the offseason. So, yeah, in conclusion, follow us at Pacer Station on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All social media platforms. I'll have Coach Jay's channel in the bio, in the description. I didn't have it on the last video. I said I would. I will this time. Make sure you follow us like I just said. More content on the way. Season's very, very close around the corner. Are you excited about the season, Coach Jay?
Absolutely. Can't wait to see what Coach Bjorkgren can do with this team. I know there's a lot of talent here. And I'm just super excited to see Coach Bjorkgren unlock this team.
100%. Hopefully he'll unleash them into something that could even be better than previous Pacers teams under Nate McMillan. Pacer Nation?
I see a younger version of the Toronto Raptors.
Ooh, I would love to see that. That'd be great to see. If like I said whenever we first got Bjorkgren, if we do have another Nick Nurse like a lot of people are saying we do, Pacers fans are in for a fun time for the next few years or so.
Definitely.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video at Pacer Station on all social media platforms. Subscribe below. Comment down what kind of content you guys would like next. Pacer Nation, we up. Deuces.